morning.
Today's reading is from James 5, 7 through 10, and page 1482 in your pew Bibles. Be patient and kind. My friends, be patient until the Lord returns. Think of farmers who wait patiently for the spring and summer rains to make their valuable crops grow. Be patient like those farmers and don't give up. The Lord will soon be here. Don't grumble about each other or you will be judged. And the judge is right outside the door. My friends, follow the example of the prophets who spoke for the Lord. They were patient, even when they had to suffer. Amen.
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 Back in the good old days of the 2-hour sermon, would you like that? I don't care how good anybody is. 2 hours would put me to sleep. Anyway, what would happen is that the pastor would, spend all day Sunday working on all the kinds of things you do on a Sunday morning. And then bright and early on Monday morning, they would start working on their sermon. And they would spend most of their days, from Monday until probably Friday, writing their sermon. And remember, this is before they were using typewriters, so they'd be having to pen it all out. And then they would deliver it. But what if something happened in their community, in the country, in the world, that really needed to be addressed, that Scripture would help address the situation? They'd be out of luck, wouldn't they? Now, when you spend all that time penning your sermon, and then something drastic had happened, and then you don't know what to do, and you maybe have to ignore it, and maybe it'd be for next week, but you couldn't do it. And that's why I wanted to share with you my gratitude that God has given me the ability to speak extemporaneously and not worry about penning a 2-hour sermon. I was going to talk to you about something totally different today. I usually plan it out on Monday, is what I do, just like those pastors of long ago. And usually I outline it, and I kind of memorize my outline. But something just happened to me on Friday night that I want to share with you, because this Scripture really does address what my dilemma is. I am not the most patient person in the world. I am not. Now, some people think because I teach special ed and I work with really needy kids that need a lot of attention, oh, you must be so patient. Baloney. I use YouTube every day. We are going over the numbers 1 through 10. You would think that eventually you would know them, right? We practice, we have the number of the day, and so then I test them on it. I have like a little talking machine there, and you press them, and I said, I want you to find the number 7, and they'll press a 2 or something like that. Very frustrating. Well, Friday night is what really tried my patience. And when I read James over again, he reminded me that I have to really work on this. Really work on this. I get very frustrated with government agencies. This is what happened. I had signed up in advance to supervise a concert. Now, this to me is easy because I've done football games, and they're not always that easy to supervise because some people get a little rowdy. But I thought, oh, it's a Christmas concert. They're going to be singing Christmas carols, and our school orchestra is going to be playing. Oh, how wonderful. So I turn off my phone, and, not turn it off, but turn the ringer off. And so I just didn't happen to close my purse, and I could see the phone light up. So I thought, oh my gosh, she would be calling me now. So anyway, it was our school principal. And he said, Jolene, can you come to school right now? And I said, Mr. Pratt, I am supervising the Christmas concert. He said, this is actually more important. And I thought, what could be more important right now? It's 7 o'clock. He said, I still have your student, and I'll just change his name I'll call him Jaime, okay? I have your student, and he's been here since about 4 o'clock. The bus tried to take him home again, and nobody was there to meet him. He said, I've called the Department of Children and Family Services, and they said they'd come out, but they said they might not make it right away. Now remember again, this is 7 o'clock, and he called them at about 6:30. He said, your student has not been changed. He's totally dependent on an adult to help him. And he hasn't had anything to eat. And I also called the school nurse and the head of the nursing for the whole district, and I expect both of them to come. So I got there, and about 10 minutes later the nurse got there. We went to the health office. Now remember, it's dark outside, so it's a little creepy. We went to the health office, we changed him, and we got him to a room off the library where they have a microwave. And the nurse had a can of SpaghettiOs. He could only eat small pieces at a time. He could eat anything, but only small pieces. So I fed him the SpaghettiOs. And I have to feed him. He doesn't know how to use his spoon. And we waited, and we waited, and we waited for the person from the Child and Family Services to get there. Nothing. And we're waiting, and we're waiting. And finally, the mother gets there. And this is about 8 o'clock at night. She finally gets there. And also at the same time, the person from the Family and Children's Services gets there. And he said, go fast, I don't want them to see you. So we take the boy into a private room off the library, and we're waiting. And what I found out later is that that person from Child and Family Services interviewed the mother for 2 full hours. Because our principal wants this kid taken out of the home. This is not the first time this has happened. He has come to school dirty and smelly and so hungry. Because when we feed him, I mean, the kid is acting like he's never seen a meal before. He is often sick and hasn't been attended to by a doctor. And we have been working with social workers, and they're wonderful. 3 social workers are working on his case to try to get him out of his situation. Oh, by the way, he lives in a motel with an 11-year-old brother and a baby. And we don't know who's taking care of them. And so here we are waiting and waiting. Then she interviews the principal. And by this time, it's 10 o'clock p.m. And she takes us one by one and interviews us. Never once did she even look at the child to see how he looked, how he was feeling. He was so congested. I mean, the poor thing, you know, really needed to see a doctor, but hadn't. And so, one by one, she interviewed us, and basically what she said is, you know, I have to follow the rules. And the rules don't have anything to say that it's that so severe. Is he physically abused? I said, no. Do you feel that he's sexually abused? I said, no. But he's neglected. Really, really neglected. Well, that's not enough. And after all these interviews, one by one, the nurse showing her the little tiny diapers that she sends him with at school. They're really his little baby sister's diapers. They don't even fit around him. We have been providing diapers so that he'd have the right size. And after all this, she says, I have to follow the rules, and we just don't have enough. I said, well, I know that I've been working with 3 social workers. She said, I realize that, but they just don't have enough evidence. I get a little frustrated. My patience is really wearing at this point. And so finally, at about 11:30 p.m., I'm told by her that I'm going to have to return him to his mother. So our principal, bless his heart, who had a lot of explaining to do his wife that night, why we stuck there with a teacher and 2 nurses, that the person from the DCFS, that's what it's called, would be the one to wheel him out to the mother. He didn't want to have anything to do with it. And so what we did is that we waited until the mother and that person from DCFS left the parking lot, and that we would all walk out together and, you know, in the parking lot, so that we felt safe. Because the mother also is very combative. Like, how dare you do this? I mean, here she didn't pick up her kid, but how dare we do this? So anyway, I waited until everyone had gone, and then we walked out together. And I was thinking about this letter from James. Because you can get very, very frustrated when you have to wait around for agencies and people to do things that they're supposed to be doing. And it's a very slow process. And what my principal said to us was that we've lost the battle, but we haven't lost the war. We are going to be very carefully documenting everything, and we're going to get this kid into a decent home. Much better than what he has right now. Because he can't speak for himself. And there are a lot of people like that, aren't they? They can't speak for themselves. They might be in another language base that nobody understands, or they can be like this little boy. He's functioning below 12 months chronologically. He's 16 years old, but he's about the size of a 7-year-old. And he can't talk, he can't sign, he can't walk, he can't, other than crying or smiling, that's about all he can do. And it's up to me and all those people that work with him to stand up for him, because who else is? And the thing is, having patience is really difficult. It really is. But giving up is not what needs to be done. I mean, I could just give up right now and say, okay, it's hopeless. But I'm not. We all have made a decision that those that care for him, we're going to plug away, we're going to document, we're going to do something, hopefully soon, so that this child has a safe, secure, and loving home. James, in his letter, talks about farmers planting seeds and waiting for the crops to grow. That's how I feel right now. Growing crops is slow. Have any of you ever planted anything like corn? And you know how tall it gets, like 8 feet tall or something? It takes a long time to start from the seed to 8 feet. It doesn't happen overnight. And that's true of our relationships. It's true of me having to work with my computer that I get very frustrated with. And my printer, that's not working right now. Get very frustrated. But the main thing is to hang in there. Have patience. Because patience really